But as far as men with ED, what I will say to this is, ladies, sometimes it's your mouth. Sometimes it's not about that he can't perform. It's the fact that you disrespect him and you disregard him and you belittle him so much that he's no longer turned on by you.
I once heard you chastise women, right? Uh, and I'm paraphrasing you for what you referred to as playing the dangerous game of withholding intimacy from their man, right?
Yeah.
How destructive is the practice of withholding intimacy from your spouse, whether it's the male or the female?
It's very destructive because what happens is, and this is what I've been saying this for you. This is what I call it. You signed up to be the sole provider of that man, right? You signed up to be their sole provider. So therefore, you signed up to make sure that every single portion of him is taken care of mentally, psychologically, emotionally, in the bedroom, cooking, clean. You signed up to care for this man. So if you signed up to be the only one that he can lay down with, if he can only have physical intimacy with you and you're not providing it, then what do you expect him to do? And I will say this, stepping out of the connection, out of a committed connection, whether you're married or not, is never okay. I will never condone that ever. But at the end of the day, we have to be realistic, because if you signed up to be the sole provider of that man and you know that he has needs and you know he has desires and wants, and you're telling him no, or you're giving it to him once a month, or like like make sure whatever it looks like to him to be taken care of, you're taking care of it. Because if not, then how do you expect for that connection and that bond to stay alive? Because what happens is when they withhold it, then the men end up being resentful. And the more he operates in that resentment towards you, then what do you expect him to do? He's gonna be out the door. He's gonna step out. Something is going to happen, and you're not gonna like it. But you're the one that got the ball rolling. So, ladies, make sure you take care of that bedroom. It's imperative.
But what's the disconnect with that reality? I don't know. It seems to be a collective disconnect with that
There,
reality.
and I'm going to take it back to the root. I'm a root puller. I'm a root puller. So I'm going to take it back to the root. A lot of the women get into connections, and what happens is they don't share with their person that they went through things, that they experienced things as children, that they experienced things in adolescent years that they shouldn't have gone through. Also, on top of that, not only are they sharing it with their person, they're also not going out and getting the help for it because of the shame, of the guilt. So and when it comes to this, I never fault anybody for falling victim to this. But at the end of the day, we're adults, and so we still have to work on it, because you, like I said, you signed up to be in this committed connection. So therefore, it's your duty to make sure that you dig out your stuff, that you deal with your stuff, that you get help for the stuff that you experience. We understand that it happened to you, but we're adults now. We still have to do better. And if you're not ready for that man in that way, then leave him alone.
I'm glad you brought it up like that, because usually when this conversation comes up, the woman is being categorized as being lazy. And a lot of times it's much deeper than that. And
Yes.
because molestation is so rampant in our
Yes.
community, there's
Yes.
a high probability that she has been sexually abused, and
Absolutely.
that can impact her view or yeah, her view on sex or her
Yes.
want sex.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing, as far as our community, we were always taught, we lived in homes where we were taught to everything that happens in this house, what stays in this house. So that is one of the other reasons why, in our community, people don't come forth, because we've been taught to remember. The other thing that we were taught was children are supposed to be seen and not heard. So then we want people to open up. We want people to be open. We want people to communicate as adults. But our whole childhood,
Or
we have been
culture never learned how.
we have been taught to be quiet. So, you know, some of us have learned to communicate properly and be open, but a lot of us haven't yet. And it's due to that. Be quiet. You're a child. Speak when spoken to.
And also the backlash when you do speak, or the ridicule you experience from your family and peers when
Yes.
you actually do speak up.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. They view it as disrespectful. And yeah, so it's imperative to, even as parents, it's imperative to allow our kids to speak, not be disrespectful, but to speak. One of the things I've always done with my children is allow them to speak up. And they're great beings right now because of it.
And there's another aspect to this conversation we have to add on there, where men and female need to be patient with their spouse, because a lot of men are suffering from erectile dysfunction, so
Yes.
they're not in a position to please their woman sexually.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And then when it comes to that, I will say this.
or a woman, I'd add, or a woman that has something else going on where she can't engage in sex.
Yes, absolutely. And it is on both sides of the spectrum. But as far as men with ED, what I will say to this is, ladies, sometimes it's your mouth. Sometimes it's not about that he can't perform. It's the fact that you disrespect him and you disregard him and you belittle him so much that he's no longer turned on by you. And then on the other side of that, if a man does have ED, you definitely have to have communication. You definitely have to have patience, but you also have to, you know, um, utilize what's out there for you. There's bladder there's CMOS, there's different things like holistically that you can do. I know a lot of people don't like to sway along the ways of pharmaceuticals, but there are holistic ways in which things can get back on track.